I listen to people at the same time. I go around at least helping people as much as I can. I used to be the youth coordinator for the Archdiocese of Nairobi. I think I met some of you when I was for a while, and with Peter Waga, who passed on in 2017, and then I moved on to academics. Okay, so I hope you can see again, and we will have a quick conversation because I know Father also is coming for a presentation. I have until time. The organizers? So if you have a question, feel free to ask. Okay, warm up your hands, warm up your hands, warm up your hands, warm up your hands. If I say ugali, clap once. Ugali. If I say ndizi, cross your arms. Ndizi. If I say chai, right thumb to the mouth. Okay? Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, ugali, ndizi, chai. Ugali, ndizi, chai. Warm up your hands, let's go, let's go, let's go. Chai. Alright, let's go, go. Ndizi, ugali. Huh? Come on. Alright, last time, let's go. Twende, chai, ndizi, ugali, ugali. Chai, chai. Look at me, stop. One of my favorite psychologists, Carl Jung, says what is best for most people usually lies where they least want to look. What is best for most people lies where they least want to look. What that means is sometimes there are situations in your life where there are things you know you should do, but you don't want to look into them because they remind you of something that's not going to be so pleasant. So take for example, how many of you when you are in the house you don't need music, you can sit quietly, you're not afraid of your thoughts? You're not afraid of your thoughts. How many of you are like, I have to have something playing because if I don't do that, I'll start overthinking and I'll get depressed? How many? Okay, there you go, right? So, sometimes you want to go to that place where you don't want to go. You want to find out what there is there. So, take for example, when you're having a panic attack, if you ever have a panic attack, and you might have a panic attack at some point in your life, what you want to do is to welcome the panic. Not to run away from it. No, oh my goodness, I want to panic. I feel like I'm gonna die. Okay. Breathe in, breathe out, and then say, okay, so the panic is here again. Let me see, what do you want with me today? So when you welcome it, you weaken it. So you've got to go to where you're afraid to go, and I'll tell you how to deal with that as we go by. So, some falsehoods about mental health or mental illness. It's a sign of weakness. If you're having a mental illness, it's a sign of weakness. You're weak. You're weak. Number two is just spiritual. Pray. Okay? You're feeling depressed? Take your rosary. It's like if you break your hand and I tell you, now you know what you need to do? Say the Divine Mercy. What you need to do is go to the doctor, even as you pray the Divine Mercy on the way, go to the doctor. And that's one of the things that we do. We are going through stress, anxiety, depression, and these are illnesses, and what do? We pray. We start saying, maybe in our family we are cursed or something like that. So, you're just being crazy. You know, grow up. Okay, happens to some people, not to me. People get depressed, not me. I don't get depressed. I'm not like everybody else. It's just a feeling. It's embarrassing to say I am depressed. You know how many people don't want to say, you know, I am mentally ill. But the moment you are depressed, you are mentally ill. But mentally ill ni wazimu. Ndio watu tunasema kwa mtaa. Sio? That's what we say. What is the Kikuyu word for mentally ill? Buhuruki. Mudo wa goma. Sio? Kwa Kiswahili tunasema mwenda wazimu. Mwenda wazimu. Right, so what that means therefore is, so many of us don't want to be known to have a mental illness. I don't want to be known as Mukimodu Keguruki. Sio. I don't want to see it to be hard to be that. Okay, so people who have what we call stress, anxiety, depression, are always sad and gloomy. That is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Some of the depressed people could be the happiest people you know. And that's one of the problems of depression. The person who is most depressed in your youth group could be the life of the party. They could be the person who always want to be, dancing, but they could be dying of depression, and that's the problem. And we assume that people who are depressed have to be, I don't want to talk to someone. No. It's not always like that. It's not always like that. Okay? So, and that's one of the challenges. How can this person say they're depressed? They're always so happy. They're always dancing. They're always excited. Right. Okay, so what are some of the defense mechanisms we have? When you get depressed, we start acting out. We rebel, we drink, we do whatever we want to avoid facing that. Number two, it's part of the acting out. We rebel from anything that is true. We pretend everything is okay. I'm alright, I'm good. What's the problem? I'm alright. I don't have to deal with that. I don't want even to talk about it. I don't want even to think about it. If I knew there was a talk about depression, I would not even have shown up. Right? Maybe that's what you're saying. I never want to think about it. Being a pleaser, I will do everything that people want. That people don't know I am depressed. Your girlfriend says, let's do this. You are there because, oh my goodness, love me. I am so lonely. So anything you want, anything, I'm here. You are desperate for any kind of showing of love. Any small amount of affection that unfortunately your parents never showed you because they only loved you insofar as you did well academically, you start looking for it in any place you can find, among your fellow boys, in pathetic relationship, hopping from one hurtful relationship to another, never remaining in one. You have a tendency to control the person you are dating. You have a tendency to possess them because you're always feeling they might run away. Right, so, pleaser is the opposite. The pleaser is the person who never says no. They never say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be unpopular. I don't want to be hated. I will do anything you want because I do not want to stand by myself alone. Okay? Wanting to be popular at all costs. Okay? Again, similar to that one. I want to do anything that makes me popular even if it hurts me. But at least, when I stand up and people clap and I'm like, oh, so I'm not completely useless, huh? Bonus few. Are we together? Huh? Okay, so, what are some causes of mental illnesses? What are some of the causes of mental illness? Number one, not enough or too much sleep. Not enough. Most healthy adults need 7.5 hours. Okay? Now you are averaging 11 hours or you are averaging 6 hours and below and telling everybody you are okay. You are not. There's something wrong. There's a very small minority of people who do well with 5 hours of sleep or less. Majority of people need 7.5 hours to go. And that's one of the reasons teenagers tend to burn schools, because they are not sleeping enough. And there's a lot of psychological repercussions for that. Okay? So, next one, not enough hydration and maybe poor diet. Conflict with parents or siblings or friends. You have fought, a friendship has broken, a relationship has ended. What happens to you? Because that can trigger moments of mental illness. Difficult and painful childhood experiences. You are sexually abused, take for example. Your parents are constantly comparing you with your cousins and everyone in the family, right? Your parents never loved you for you. And so what happened to you? You became sick at some level. And you don't want to think about it. Dominic, stop. I have put that in a closet somewhere and I never speak about it. Why are you bringing it up? Okay? And what you do, the problem is these things don't go away. They follow you to the new relationship. You've never, as a man, you've never had a conversation with a grown man on what it is to be a man. You don't know what it is to have the confidence and the encouragement of a father. And so what do? You're going to look for it. You're going to look for it. and oftentimes not in the most healthy way. Okay? Puberty. So puberty itself, especially among girls, can trigger depression. Yeah? So the menstrual cycle itself can trigger depressive episodes, okay? Especially at the teenage level and even later. And very painful menstrual cramps can be a signal itself of a mental illness. Okay, worrying about what you can't control. Oh yeah, by the way, that is true. Yeah. And if you go to your gyna and there's nothing physical, and your menstrual cramps are painful more than usual, it could be a sign that you're mentally depressed. That's what you call a psychosomatic illness. It's when an illness starts from the mind to the body. Okay, like high blood pressure is almost always because of a mental illness. Okay, so that's what we mean by psychosomatic. Worrying about what you can't control or change. Can you change your siblings? Can you change them? Can you choose others? No. Can you change your folks? Can you change your parents? No. You can change them. You can wake up one day and I'm like, oh dad, I'm tired. Hey, I'm out. I'm done. Okay, so it's going to look for new parents now. You guys suck. Now your parents could be fighting. Your parents could be drunkards. Your parents could be everything you're not proud of. But they're your parents. You're not going to change them. Someone in your family could be sick. You worrying about it changes little, next to nothing. They are sick, whatever kind of sickness there is. You worrying about it changes nothing. You can pray for them, you can do what you can, but getting depressed because your mom is sick does not make her better. It makes you sick too. And those are two problems, not one less. Right, so there are things we cannot change. And what do we do with things we cannot change? What do we do to the things we cannot change?
We accept them.
We accept them, isn't it? We accept them as they are. We accept them because that's the reality of life. What do you do? Okay, so maybe you don't like your height. You are vertically challenged. Huh? And you don't like it because maybe as a guy, your crush is slightly taller than you. Isn't it? And as a man, you don't want to look up to a woman. See, literally. Right. Even the girls will be like, I like that guy, but he's short. No. Right? So, being horizontally challenged, that is your problem, right? You can do something about it. But vertically challenged, what you do? Maybe skin color, I don't know. If you want to change your color, that's up to you, really. But then you are so brown and then you bear a kid one day and the kid is black. Like, so people are like, so what happened? Really, really dark. There's some white women also who are now changing their color, right? Who are trying to be black. All right, so anyway, so some of these things can happen. And maybe the best thing you can do is to accept yourself. As a man, there are things about you might not like, including the size of things. See? As a woman, same thing that can happen. Really, yes. Maybe you wish you had melons, but you have apples. See? And grapes. Huh? Maybe you wanted a little bit more seating allowance, but there's no seating allowance. You know? Right. Same thing to us men, huh? It's not limited to the ladies. Even for us men and for our salvation. Oh, sorry. There are some things that you like us. All right. Too many negative conversations. Too many negative conversations. Imagine every conversation you have is about complaining. You're always complaining about something. Something is wrong, this is bad, I don't like this. Every single conversation, there is nothing about being grateful, about being happy. Almost all your conversation with your friends is about something is wrong somewhere. Those are not helpful. Okay, some other causes, lack of exercise. You never move unless you're moving to get food or to go to sleep. You never move at all. Now, your body produces something we call endorphins. Endorphins are natural painkillers that help to reduce the impact of mental illness. And it's important that you move also because your heart only pumps blood. It does not pull blood. And what that means when the blood, right now you're seated, the blood in your feet, for it to go back to the heart to be pumped to the lungs, the muscles need to be strong to do that because it's the muscles that push the blood back to the heart. And you have a weaker, lower body. Right? You hear your mother saying, oh, my back is paining, oh, here and there, my legs, my feet are paining. Oftentimes because they don't move a lot and the blood is clogging at the feet and they are having a lot of pain. So you need to move, also for your own health. Okay, focusing too much on yourself and your problems. Have you ever been with people who every time they speak, it's about the issues? Even if you try to bring your issues kidogo too, there's some way they will twist them. 2.5 seconds later to make it about them. Right. So they are not very good listeners at all. So everything is about my parents, my academics, my job, my sickness, my relationship, me. Yeah, actually, that's why I stopped, because I realized I'm heading towards that song. Okay, so don't get too obsessed. Sometimes get out and go to somewhere where people are suffering more than you and take the attention away from yourself for a minute, okay? So that can help. Resentment and hurt. There's someone who hurt you when you're in class 2, you have never let go. Back. Cheat. That pain and resentment gives you meaning in life. Okay, so you don't want to let it go. Right. So resentment and hurt. Someone broke your heart and you have decided, all men. All women are, Okay. So, all right. So what I mean therefore is, you ought to be careful because resentment against your siblings, against your parents, against whoever hurt you, can be very, very detrimental to your own relationships and to your own health. Nelson Mandela used to say that refusing to forgive is like swallowing rat poison and waiting for the rat to die. Can you imagine there's a rat in your house that you're so mad at? You're going to die. Other causes is loneliness. And loneliness is such a big issue that World Health Organization has made it the theme of this year globally. It's such a huge thing. Loneliness-related illnesses kill 5 million people globally annually. Loneliness-related illnesses. It's such a serious issue that even the World Health Organization has made it the focus of this year on Mental Health Week, which is next week, by the way. Next week. Too much screen time. Too much screen time has been found to lead to certain, and I'm going to show you shortly on that. Poor mindset, I should not suffer. Why should I suffer? Who do you think you are? And especially, sometimes we Catholics are affected by Protestant theology that says, you're suffering because you're not prayed enough. It's because you have a certain sin. That's not Catholic theology at all. For us, we understand one thing. If you want to be a disciple of Christ, number 1, deny yourself. 2, take up your cross. And 3, follow him. Follow him to where? Calvary. That is where. So don't think you're very, there is this, it's very American. Oh, you are special. Special? What makes you special? You're not special. Don't even tell children they're special. Why are they special? You are unique. Yes, but just like everybody else. So, suffering is part of life. If actually there's something that you will face more than anything else, suffering. That's part of life. Oh, I should not suffer. suffer. I am a good Catholic. I never miss Mass. I have always confessed. You know, I said 15 divine Masses in a day. Yes, very good. Congratulations. But, welcome to life. God is not living life for you. Faith does not take problems away. Faith gives us the strength to face problems. That is what happens. Okay, so don't go with these certain evangelical ideas that you should not suffer because God died, Jesus died for you, and therefore everything is done for you. No. No. Right. Okay. During lockdown, you know what happened? Huh? Teenagers walipata mimba bila jokes. Right? Walikuwa committed na history. In one county, almost 4,000 kids. One county, Machakos. Mayango, kumeba. Ikawa kunapenda hivi sana.